politics dressed as comedy. Who's outraged? Who's doubling down? The GGHOP is here to turn it all around with an ancient idea called having fun. Sounds a little scary, stick around, don't run. In the next 60 minutes, begging you to try. Open up your echo chamber and ditch your tribe. There's just one mission by which we're led, to put a big fat smile upon your head. The song is almost done, time to stop the show, but there might be something left that you'd like to know. What's GGHOP mean? It's your right to ask. The guaranteed, genuine, honest to goodness 1 hour podcast.
Good morning. You're tuned to the GGHOP, the guaranteed, genuine, honest to goodness 1 hour podcast. I am your host, not Bill Gant, James Swinford, usually the snaggletooth guy that sits over here and makes little comedy jokes that's on the fly. But today, you're in for a good one. Now, first, before we even get started, we are sponsored by the great Wilson Farm Market. All kinds of fried pies, goodness, just the best damn food. Karen, this is Miss Karen Haynes, everybody.
Yo.
So anytime you've ever been to the Wilson's Farm Market, have you ever left thinking I should have bought something else from there?
Yes, because I try to be a bit restrained, but those cookies are pretty darn good.
I mean, because literally when you're in there, you're looking around, you came there for something. You're like, man, I'm going to go here and buy this. And you always got the one or two things you know you're going to buy, and nothing's like crazy price. So you're not going to go in there. You're not going to go overboard. But now, with the GGHOP, we got giveaways. $100. Every month we're giving away $100. Wilson's Farm Market. Not only that, you get that sweet GGHOP shirt that Karen's sitting next to you right there. All compliments of Wilson's Farm Market. And today, coming to you live from the beautiful Frankfurt Beer Works at the Christian Ridge Historical District. Karen,
Yeah.
when I came in here today, I seemed prepared as hell, didn't I?
Yes,
Just seemed
you did.
prepared. Just seemed like, man, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to show up, Bill. I got these graphics. I got all this cool stuff planned out. I got a couple of sick burns for him at the end. It's going to be great, right? It's going to be great. All right. So, most of you know me. You know, I partake in things that tend to mess with your brain and don't make you stay concentrated on certain stuff. And I went out of my way this week to not be so much like that and be completely prepared. I had all these graphics set up. I actually did a bunch of stuff on my personal computer at home. I had some bits laid out. I'm just going to set there are no graphics left besides Wilson's Farm Market today, folks, because that's all we need. Wilson's Farm Market, the best damn place on planet Earth. So, get everything prepared. And of course, I'm that guy. I'm the guy that when I was in school, my academics, they were really good. I always had the, Karen, what were your academics like? Were you AB student? I imagine you were AB. You were AB student? Little C's here and there on some shit. Maybe not a math major.
Maybe CD.
Yeah? just enough to get by? Was it a not trying thing, or you really just felt like, what do I need any of this shit for?
Probably more. I don't know what I need that shit for.
Yeah. Because you were kind of already, I got some stuff I know I want to be doing whenever I get out of here. I'm kind of already a homemaker.
I was a placenta girl. I mean, seriously.
Placenta girl.
I brought a placenta. I mean, why do I have to top that?
Were you destined to be on a podcast that showed sex toys and dirty pictures and shitty toilets?
I think seriously and secretly, probably.
Probably. It was like preordained, but you just didn't know it yet?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So, get all these graphics done. I had 5. I was going to do the water shooting pistol thing that Bill always does when we first get here. It's like, all right, got these 5 jokes laid out. I didn't do anything with the laptop. Took the laptop home. Made sure I took the laptop home. Now, Bill, I made sure I took the laptop home. All the work was done. My only thing was, I just got to transfer it from the PC to this. I had 3 different ways I could deliver it. I'm not going to go into any details. All really easy ways to do it. Little shortcuts, so you don't have to worry about download times, shit like that. Nerd shit. I opened it up, and I figure, okay, I got up at 3 o'clock this morning. I'm a third shift. I'm whacked hours all the time anyway. But this is my weekend. It's my time off. I had plenty of time set aside. I opened up the computer. The password on the front, which I thought was a password, wasn't the password, so I couldn't open it up to get to it. There's no panic on my end because I don't care. Whenever you look at the thing at the start, it says the GGHOP with Bill Gantz. So I was like, I'll put this together. I'll write some stuff out. So if the bits don't come together, I can just go ahead and I'll have it pre-written. We'll do it like we did old school, Karen. We never had graphics and stuff. How many
No.
episodes in do you think we got before we even got graphics? 30?
Oh, yeah.
About 30, 40,
40.
somewhere in there. We've
Yeah.
only had them for about 20ish so episodes. Had a lot of guests when we first started. A lot of guests.
I like that.
We need to start bringing back all the guests. All the guests that we've previously had, you're all going to be back here especially during the summer. We know you guys all got something going on. We'll make sure we get all your ads out. Get you some of your merch sales, some things like that.
Yeah. I think I'm
But-
supposed to get a tattoo.
Oh yeah, and I'm pretty sure all of us might at some point. I've already got 2 or 3 picked out that I've been
Oh.
eyeballing. Yeah.
Sweet Jesus.
My wife usually gets one about every couple of years. She's got she don't have quite a few, but she's got a few.
Yeah.
Usually every couple of years, tax time or middle of the summer, and or something reminds you of something, and you decide you want to commemorate some stuff. Some people get a lot of those. A lot of people have people that pass, things like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I was sitting there and I was like, the evolution of podcast, right?
Right.
So
How far we've come.
So the first now before this, and you got into being on a podcast when Bill invited you and me to be on this show. Did you actually watch any podcast or have anything to do with any kind of
Never.
podcast? You never really watched anything or took any
No.
kind of content like that? See, I didn't think you did.
Really?
No, I mean, just in general, I just didn't think you did. And I thought if you did, it was probably something more along the lines of the things you're interested in.
Right.
But there's not a whole lot of things for that. It's usually TV shows and things like that, or the stuff that you're generally in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying like you sit around watching Martha Stewart all day.
Well-
I would, because I do like Martha Stewart, but that's one
Yeah.
of those things. But
Yeah.
I grew up on PBS, so I was used to all the homemaking shows, all the
Oh,
traveling
yeah.
shows, and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Totally.
So when you get into podcasting, you think, okay, if you're just doing it by yourself, that's no big deal. I'm sitting in front of my computer, I got fucking graphics on my iMac, and I can just put some shit in the background, or I got my trophies or the shit I did if I was a sports athlete or something in the background. I could just be whatever, just talk in front of the one camera with that. But if you start getting into like 1 or 2 people like we got here, it's a production. You actually have to have microphones. You have to have things to plug it into. You got to have soundboard. You got stuff that takes from the soundboard to the computer. We got extra monitors that I keep looking down. If you see me looking down here at the monitor, I'm the most unprofessional fucking host you're going to see on a podcast today.
We could turn it off. And then you won't
Oh,
see
absolutely
yourself.
not. Sometimes I just want to look at myself because I'm like, man, what did you do? I mean, you started off good. No, actually, I didn't start off good. You seen some of them old pictures I got? Man, I got some pictures. Yeah, I do have pictures. Didn't load them, though. You know why? Here's why I didn't load my pictures, right? Michael sends me the password, our producer, the best producer in the business. He needs some producing done. This is the dude. Whether it's music, videos, editing, and this is the guy. He's the man. So I even had a conversation with him yesterday. Me and Michael went on a little road trip. And I tell him,
Yeah.
I'm that guy. All through school. I was smart enough to where I could show up the day of a test, probably not read anything that had to do with it, but I already knew enough about it just from paying attention in class to be able just to pass the test without doing any kind of whatever. If I had a project that was supposed to be like 2 weeks long, it'd take me about 4 or 5 hours the day before, and I'd get like a fucking B. So I just thought, that's just how I'm going to start doing shit from now on. Well, when you get into the podcasting game, podcasts, just how they're laid out. This one, when we first started, like, do you remember when we first started doing our little demos?
Yeah, in July.
Yeah, so we rolled out into Bill's backyard. Super nice out. We're just outside. And Karen and I didn't even know each other. So
No.
our first few times just even getting together was just us figuring each other out. So the first thing I ever said about Karen, and I've already told you this, if you watch one of our previous episodes way back, I've already said, I thought you were going to be a total square. I'm like, man, I don't know if she's got personality. I don't know about this or that.
There's moments.
And the first time we got together, it was more we were just chit-chatting. We weren't actually discussing the show or what it was going to
No,
be or
yeah.
anything. We were just getting an idea, just a
Yeah.
think tank or whatever, brainstorming.
Yes.
And in full disclosure, I am not the type of person that profiles people, but I constantly just profile people all the time. I worked at a bar long enough to where you kind of have to read a room, so you can kind of get a profile or a personality profile on whoever's coming in the room in case somebody might be a situation, or if somebody's going to be a good time and a good tipper. That's a real good one too. Reading people, watching all these investigation shows. true crime stuff.
She a
all your
slut
detective.
or not?
Well, yeah. Well, when I was single at the time, those were the kind of things. I mean, especially if you're into bar scene, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's at any age thing if you're single, yeah. Or some of them that aren't. Some of them that aren't that are there doing the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? We see you.
Yeah, we do.
We see you. Don't be going.
Mm-mm.
You know who you are.
Yep.
I mean, even if we got 45 people watching this, at least one of you are out there doing some shit. And we see you.
Shouldn't be doing.
Don't be doing that.
I know you.
Anyway,
I'll find you.
the reason why the graphics didn't make their way from the PC to the sweet laptop over there was because when I started looking through it, when you do some stuff and you're a certain frame of mind when you write some shit, and I thought, okay, Bill puts these things together. He does them a few days ahead of time. I was like, I'll show him up. I'll do these like even further ahead of time. So as soon as he told me that we were going to do this, I start putting in the work. And when you don't look at it for a few days and you come back to it with a clean and sober slate and you look at it and you're like, who the fuck's going to laugh at this? I thought I was writing jokes for Seth Meyers, honestly. I started looking through it and I'm like, okay, that's kind of political. Bill don't want to do political. It's like, fuck, I don't want to do political. Why did I put that in there? Okay, I'm going to take this out real quick and put something else in. Well, no, I can't really do that. Well, then this joke ain't going to go with these two. These are cool. Like, Bill, I apologize. The work you put in, I'm a situational comic. Some things get said. I say the little chime-ins after. I'm the sarcasm as you go along. I tie this stuff together. But we don't have a writing crew. We got cameras. We got a producer. We got this whole thing. Bill Gant is the writing crew. I'm not a writer. I'm not even a reader. Fuck. I've read 3 books in my life. How many books have you read? Probably more than 3, right? Full books. Come on, be honest. I've maybe listened to 2 books on audio tape, right?
Right.
A lot of that was because we had to write so much and we were forced to do it that I didn't want to do anymore when I didn't have to. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know how many times I signed my name? Like, I don't use checks anymore.
Oh. Yeah.
How many times do you think in a year I signed my name?
Probably 4.
Maybe like once every 6 years when I get my driver's license. That's why I feel like the only thing. I had to fill out a check. You ever fill out a check recently?
Yeah, it's weird.
I had to stop and reteach myself how to write in cursive just to fill out a check. That's how little I write.
Handwriting gets
right?
like shittier.
Oh, and my stuff looks like you wrote it on a train. I mean, look at this shit. I mean, I know you can't see it on here, but look at this. It looks like I wrote it on a train.
I don't even.
You can't even.
Know
It's
what
all
that fuck
chicken.
it
It's
is.
just chicken. It looks like shorthand, right? So I load all that. I was going to load all that in there. I start looking at it. I realize I look like I'm Seth Meyers' writer, and I don't want to have anything to do with that. I'd be hanging from a tree if I decided I was going to work for that guy. Not that I'm anything against him or anything, but his only humor is Trump humor, and that's what a lot of those people are. Now, Karen, when you were younger, did you watch Johnny Carson?
I love him.
Did your parents love Johnny Carson?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, my grandma and all them were hooked on Johnny Carson. And Johnny Carson, for those of you kids, the old stuff still holds up. You can watch Johnny Carson right now. I think he was on MeTV or one of those ones at night, and they still show him late at night. Johnny Carson shit still holds up.
Yep.
Some of the skits that Bill likes to do with like the thing.
Thinking hat.
Yeah. Well, no, it's
card.
like it's like supposed to be like a genie or supposed to be able to read the thing.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what the hell it's called. Awesome bit, and it always killed when he did it. Bill does a version of it that cracks me up too. But the funny part about it is that some of them that are duds, those are probably the funnier ones.
Yeah.
Bill doesn't understand that sometimes whenever you're writing stuff, that the jokes that bomb, sometimes those are the best ones because they bombed.
Yeah.
And that's why I always want to give tips or give props to anybody that actually writes comedy, because I can't write comedy. Most of the stuff that I do, I'm literally doing, here's literally what's going on, right? It's like, here's James's comedy. Somebody says something. I chime in on it. If that goes and it floats, some people have a couple laughs, a couple people bust out. Because I'm always just trying material out whenever I'm out in public or doing some things. And you always have certain people you know are going to laugh at certain stuff, so you can use certain things with them. When you're trying to do it for a podcast, for a wide audience, it's fucking hard. You know how fucking hard it is? It's crazy hard. I'm sitting there just like, I had 4 pages worth of just random ass shit I wrote down that were going to be full on bits. Me and Karen were going to talk them out, have a few things in between them. You go back and start looking at them, and I'm just like, what in the 3rd grade fuck is this stuff I'm writing down on here?
Oh, shit.
Now, full disclosure, Frankfurt Beer Works, the tasty zinger that I'm drinking here. There were 3 on the table, 1 down, halfway through this one. I was going to do a giveaway to see how many, if anybody could guess how many I do during a live show, but it's technically noon for me, so I'm only day drinking. This ain't me in the morning drinking, so don't nobody tell my mom, all right?
Dialed.
So my backup plan. All right, these graphics ain't gonna load. What the fuck am I gonna do? Karen, you ever had like a project for school? You didn't go to college, right? I didn't go to college. Did you go to college?
Year and a half.
A little bit, yeah, just a little bit.
2.5 years. That tells you how well I did.
Well, school ain't for everybody, and I learned more out of school just being in the general public and on the internet than you learn in the fucking 12 years of school anyway.
Yeah.
But stay in school, kids. If you can make something of it, go for it. But if you can't, hey, we got to do some other shit. Yeah, learn a fucking trade, and that's legit. I'm not saying that to put down anybody. People wear Carhartts and scrubs. They're the only reason any of us are around here right now.
That's right.
Yeah, I ain't seen a fucking senator out there paving the goddamn street or cutting down these trees or fixing these fucking bridges or any of that shit. No, they're just up there bitching about stuff that don't matter. Anyway, political. There you go. There's your one political. There's your one political. Actually, no, I do have one more political one later, but that's for Bill. All right, so I wrote down the podcast evolution. That was the one thing I did remember. So, Karen, when we first started, I want to know what you generally like when you came home, and because you probably had the same. All of us, if we have a significant other at home that you come home and you do like your end of the day rant to,
yeah,
you're always like, you're like, I met this fucking James guy, and so here's a great joke that I heard because I like to self-deprecate. Now, my teeth, I'm not somebody who has vanity as a trait. My teeth are fucked up, right? And at some point, this pans when this episode goes viral and it all pans out, I'm gonna get my teeth fixed, and you won't be able to make this comment anymore.
Ooh.
But I heard a comic, and I thought it was the funniest thing, and I always thought it was best to describe my lower teeth because when I was little, I have a jaw that's like way too small. You saw those sweet ass fucking pictures from my ear. You see those pictures from my ear?
Yeah.
My jaw, like I got the Swinford jawline. So like my dad's whole side of the family's got a crazy small jaw, right? So all of our teeth in the lower front are crowded. And when I first started actually pitching before they had like the next year after you have the pitching machine, right? I had it was maybe like the second time I ever started. And all my baby teeth in the front were kind of loose, right? Kind of loose. Well, 5 or 6 pitches into my second time I ever pitched without a pitching machine, all those baby teeth were disintegrated on a fastball that just hit me right in the face.
Oh,
knocked all those out.
God.
So my jaw already being small as it was, all these ones start growing in. They start growing in wherever the fuck they felt like growing in at, right? Poor as shit when you're little. I didn't have I had dental work, had stuff like that. Teeth were healthy, just fucking all over the place, right? Healthy, all over the place. Doctor told me. Since then the war of attrition has knocked the fuck out of these.
Never mind the little black ones.
Since then the war of attrition has knocked the fuck out of these, right? The one I'm missing in the front lower, my son, right? When he was little, and he was like 2. He's sitting on my lap, and we're watching YouTube. And little kids, like when you're little kids, when you just get excited, just throw themselves around.
Oh, yeah.
He's sitting on my lap. I'm watching something on the TV over here while he's watching something on YouTube with headset on. He gets happy about something, throws his head back, slams my whole entire jaw together, breaks the tooth, chips all the other ones in the bottom. So the funniest joke I ever heard about bad teeth, and it totally goes for mine on the bottom, right? You ready, Karen? This is just going to be random ass jokes and shit we're talking about, so get ready. This might be fun. This is halfway through number 2. My lower teeth look like a bunch of teenagers vandalized an abandoned cemetery.
Ooh. That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I heard that, and I thought, that's the best joke, and you can't get any better than that.
No, not really.
All right. Next little segment we got here. We're about 20 minutes in. We're close to halftime. Get ready for halftime. This one right here is just called James's Random Observations. So, Karen, when you're out doing stuff, you see like a car that's like a car you never seen before.
Yeah.
You see people that are unique. Like, say you see somebody that has like a Princess Leia haircut, or you're at the mall and you see somebody's got like blue hair that's got like cool stuff in it or something. You just see random things and just random stuff you generally just observe when you're out in public. Or sometimes you see somebody and you're like, oh, I see that person over there. They look like a celebrity. Like, you ever seen somebody you thought was a celebrity?
Or someone you really thought you knew.
Or somebody, yeah,
Happens to me a
that happens a
lot.
lot, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that happens a ton. Because I literally stopped a guy at work the other day and said, "Hey, I haven't seen you in a long time. How's it been?" And realized that because it
Nope.
looked like my friend had put on about 20 pounds. Honestly, I mean, looked just like my buddy, but looked like he put on about 20 pounds. I just thought, maybe having a rough go, or he's comfortable. Most people get comfortable, they start getting bigger. That's how it works out. And I see him, and I'm like, "Oh, hey, man, Kyle, I haven't seen you in fucking blah blah." Who the fuck's Kyle? I'm like, "Oh man, I'm sorry. You look just like my buddy. You got a doppelganger." I literally got it up on my phone and showed it to him. He goes, "Whoa, I might want to call that guy." Like literally,
Yeah.
yeah, it was like
Yeah.
one of those. So one of my random observations. Do you remember? So most of you, if you're watching, if you're anywhere near 35 or older, you remember the singer Selena?
Yes.
Used to do Tejano music.
Yes. Yeah.
She had a ton of good hits, and she was awesome in the 80s and early 90s, right?
Yeah.
And she was killed by the lady who was her fan club president, right?
Yes.
Who worked directly with her in the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And there's a
There's a
whole movie
movie.
about it that J-Lo was in, like
Yeah.
the Selena movie and the whole nine. I know all
Yeah.
my Mexican family is gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. And that lady, she had a certain look to her. You remember what she looked like?
Not totally off my head, but
She kind of had like a lunch lady vibe.
Oh.
She had the reddish curly hair, kind of almost looked like she's wearing a wig, but she wasn't. Kind of the short curly hair.
Okay. Okay.
And she kind of looked like your like the portrayal that the Family Guy has for the lady that's the housekeeper, Consuela
Okay.
type look to her.
Yeah.
Not being racist at all. I'm just saying that's kind of the look she has, the vibe. But she has a certain look, and I've watched that movie. I watched the original documentary about how she was murdered and all the different things behind it, and how she rose to be whatever it was she was. But she just got released not too long ago, like maybe a year or so ago. Like she got released not too long. She's already done like her time and had been released. Like I think she had to do 25 years of life and got out in 25.
Wow.
So I had her name looked up. I can't remember what her name is, like Salazar or something like that. I can't remember her last name. But as me and my wife were over in Walmart last weekend, we're walking up the aisle. I swear to God, I saw that lady. You ever just been walking around and see somebody that was like, that looked like an old, like you ever see somebody look like Charlie Manson walking around, or somebody that looks like just a random?
Scary shit.
So as soon as
Yeah.
I saw her, I walked past. I go, "Oh man, look over there." I said, "Look at that lady," and just really focus on her. And as soon as she turns around, I go, "That's that lady that killed Serena, ain't it? Or Selena, ain't it?" And have you ever, not once?
Said it out loud.
Oh no, I said it. No, I made sure I didn't say it completely out loud. I walked past, but I kept turning and looking, and she started looking at me. So I gave her like a smile and like a head nod, like, "Oh hey." So I didn't want her coming to kill me next. Like she's part of the GGHOP fan club coming in here killing me for some shit. No.
Some shit you did.
Another thing. So what was the longest period of time you ever spent at one job, Karen?
I'd say 15 years.
15 years. So
Yeah.
I spent 13 years at defunct oil company or oil steel company, Federal Mogul, right?
Okay. Okay.
And one of my more recent jobs that I spent the most time at, I was there for 3.5 years in a warehouse.
Yeah.
Loved all the people there. Good people. Didn't mind the work. Just a lot of things get to you at some point. And you eventually just want to
Yeah.
be gone. So when I left, I took off like all the clothes I was wearing. It was like my PPE stuff, and just threw them
Yeah.
all in the trash. Like I want to be done with everything.
Right.
And the nerd in me, the only thing that I took that I left with from here, you want to know what it was?
Yeah. What? Shirt?
No, earlier today when I was trying to write out my nice thing that we were going to do for our show, my pens, because I love those fucking G2 pilot or those G2
Oh,
pens.
yeah.
I'm a nerd for some pens. Are you a nerd for pen? Your pilots, whatever kind of pen you like?
Yeah.
I'm a nerd for some of that
When you
shit.
find a good one, it's like,
Yeah, as soon as
you
you
hold
find,
on to it
yeah,
like
you're like,
gold.
that's my pen.
and then you lose it, and then you're constantly.
I
feel
bought like a
you're-
bunch of packs of them that I found one day
Yeah.
that were on a clearance. And I put them up and literally told my son, "Do not fucking touch these." And they were literally right back where I was. It's like the only thing I've ever told that kid not to go and mess with that he didn't mess with.
That's pretty good for you.
Yeah. So a continuation of the story about how we first started and I didn't get anything loaded up. So today I'm thinking, okay, my son is homeschooled. He does all his stuff on the computer. He gets up in the middle of the day, he gets up when he's supposed to and does all his stuff he's supposed to do. He's a good student online, the whole 9 yards, no big deal. The school environment wasn't for him. He was homeschooled early, went to school for a while, put him back in homeschool this year. No big deal. So the one time I ever needed to call him
Little fucker.
to have him take a screenshot of my whole layout so I wouldn't be completely confused and have to write half my shit on just a whim from my memory,
Great memory.
He's got
by the
his
way.
phone on Do Not Disturb because he's only got like 2 classes a day and they don't start till like 11. So I didn't get my backup plan. So when he gets home, he's gonna get an earful. How often have you ever had to when your kids were younger? Did they ever just really fuck up bad and you had to really lay it down to them, or they were mostly good kids? Your one boy is like an Eagle Scout, so I'm imagining he only did a few
Yeah.
things early on. He got set straight and just kind of went the right path, right?
No, they both did Eagle Scouts. They both
Oh,
were
really?
Eagle Scouts. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so they got a genuinely good core.
Yeah. Generally good core. I think they're probably too chicken shit to really do anything bad because Ryan is
Well,
their
yeah.
dad.
Yeah,
And, you
right.
know, he looks at you wrong and you probably piss your pants.
Yeah, well, Ryan, he looks like if he gets you in a headlock, he ain't gonna let you go.
No.
Yeah, he ain't gonna let you go.
No. You just hope you never find the headlock
Right,
position.
right.
Because then you're fucked.
He'll talk you down from you having to get in that situation, right?
Yeah. No, none of them. Oh, Catherine got in trouble once. This is a good one. She really wanted to go to a concert. And I don't remember who it was, but it was like,
How old was she at the time?
she was a teenager.
Okay.
And she really wanted to go to a concert, and there was no way Ryan was going to let her go, type thing. And
Was it
so
something like NC-17, something a little more raunchy that you probably had to have a parent, or just?
I don't think so. I think it was just one of those, like she was the first girl that, he had kind of say over. He has an older daughter.
Yeah.
What's your birthday's this week, this week? Anyway, and, but the thing is, so she really wanted to go to a concert. And what she ended up doing was spending the night with her girlfriend. And her girlfriend was going to the concert, so she got to go to the concert. So it was like, like when you have kids have friends over, if you're all going out to eat, you're going out to eat.
Or the classic cover story. I'm staying
Yeah.
at so-and-so's house. Well, he's staying at so-and-so's house. Well, he's staying at so-and-so's house. And none of you are staying at any of those houses. You're somewhere else.
Well, she stayed at the girlfriend's house, but the girlfriend's activity that evening was the concert.
Yeah.
So she went to the concert, and she came home from it and from the night over, and all went well. Probably about 3 days later, Ryan figured out what she did, and he went to the dad's house and was like, really leaned into him for taking his daughter to a concert.
More like he didn't know where the situation she was going to be in.
Yeah. But it was just, that was one of them.
But that's a good dad, though.
Yeah, it's a good dad,
especially
but
with a daughter.
Damn,
Yeah,
man.
especially with a daughter.
Yeah. Okay. So she didn't get
Because
that
with
much
boys, you're
trouble.
just basically like, don't get anybody pregnant, don't go to fucking jail. That's
Yeah.
like your main, out the door.
If you go to jail,
Yeah.
you're out on your own. I'm not bailing your ass out.
Well, all right. We're at halftime in this half-assed put-together shit show we call the GGHOP. All of this sponsored by the Wilson's Farm Market. This month, any of our socials, leave a comment. Tell me how terrible I am at my job and how much better Bill is at it. I mean, just lay into me. Roast the fuck out of me for not being a good host. I'll enjoy it. Wilson's Farm Market, $100. You get the free GGHOP t-shirt. All the good stuff at Wilson's Farm Market. Chicken, fried pies. I'm trying to think of all the random stuff Bill would say. You know what's the coolest thing in there is when you find some candy that your grandma used to have that nobody else ever cared, that nobody else ever bought or had around.
And it's not just like a small package. It's the
there's all the
clear
1 pound or the
plastic,
half pound, big clear
half-pound
plastic ones. It's
package.
all good. If you like any ciders, man, they had the grape ones. They had all those different crazy flavors and the small ones and the big ones. Like I have to go back there and get one of those grape ones at some point. I just wonder what a little bit of that and some vodka would just really, cut a little
Sounds
both
good.
out. Cut like the sharpness out of the vodka and a little bit of the sweet out of
Yeah.
the
Probably worked
Yeah.
out real well.
nice grape cider with some vodka in it from the Wilson's Farm Market. They do not sell vodka, but they sell all your good
Mixers.
I'm just sitting there thinking of all the mixers they would have there if I was going to start doing some stuff. Because you can go through and get some of their
do you mean
dried.
What do
Some
you
of the
mean start doing some
well, I
stuff?
mean, you can get some of the dried fruit and stuff like that and put it in a good mixer if you're making like daiquiris or
Yeah.
some shit like that.
Yeah.
Some good stuff.
All right.
Wilson's Farm Market makes all this possible. So, one of my other James's observations. I believe, in all honesty, that the moon landing was fake. Now, why is that? We're not conspiracy theorists, and I'm far from a conspiracy theorist. But why do I think
Why?
it's fake?
Yeah,
right?
why?
Why is the moon landing fake? Because I believe it was recorded on a roadway in Michigan. Have you seen the fucking roads in Michigan? Michigan roads are the stupidest, most chuck hole, losing your fucking car holes. People in Indiana, listen. There are some shit places. We're getting through some stuff. They're starting to redo some of these highways. They're starting to fix some bridges. We're one of the good states. Drive around. Go any state around here. There's some fucked up streets. Man, Michigan has this one hole that I saw a car, and I saw it off in the distance. As it does one of these, it kind of does, like you see the car off in the distance, it kind of goes.
Yeah, then you know to avoid it.
You're like, okay, it's kind of like if you go across a railroad, you just kind of see this, and you think, all right, no big deal. I'm not in his lane. I'm not worried about it. I'm in the other lane. As I drive by and I see his lane, I see 4 layers of the previous asphalt that had been put into this street. Like every 4 layers, you see the sediment and how many layers was in this. That's how deep that hole was. And this little Honda was up the road, side of the road, already checking his stuff out. I'm like, that's ridiculous. We got to get these fucking roads fixed, people. Come on.
My God.
I know that's not funny, but I seriously do think the moon landing happened in Michigan.
Oh, God.
My 4th observation in traveling on the great roads of the great state of Indiana. Karen, when you were younger, and your grandma or your grandpa, we're going to go grandparents here, right?
All right.
Grandma
ready?
or grandpa, you're staying with them for the weekend. They decide they're going to go somewhere, and you got to go with them, right?
Yep.
So you go outside, and no disclosure. Me and Karen we're in between 45 to 55. You ain't gonna worry about where we're at in that 45 range to 55 range, but that's where we're at. So our grandparents back then probably had some big ass. My grandma had this giant cat like Lincoln Continental, right? You could sit in the back of the top and where the speakers would be. It's how big this damn car was.
Yeah.
And I always thought, this is the most unsafe shit ever, right?
Oh, yeah.
But our grandparents were only going like what? They let their foot off the gas, and that's all the faster they would go.
Yeah.
20 mile an hour, 30 mile an hour.
Yeah.
So as these generations of people start dying off, we get into the boomers that are driving now. Some of the people are going to start driving after this. My parents' generation, they don't drive like that anymore, Karen. You know how they drive? They drive like they do not care if they live or die. These old people are out here going 70 in like a 45. They're out here going like 60 in a 35. They're out here driving like crazy. In a 2-hour road trip, I think I was almost rear-ended at least 4 times. One of them was actually 80 and on their phone, at least.
Oh, can you fathom that one?
Oh yeah, like what are you on your phone for? Because then when they pulled up in the lane next to me, I'm just like, what the hell is this lady on her phone for? Get together, old people.
Right.
Start driving like
That's
the rest
scary.
of us. Come on.
So
I don't care if that wasn't funny.
we had 2 sisters that came from St. Augustine's convent in Indianapolis come to our church, and they got pulled over outside of Lebanon for doing 70 through Lebanon. 2 nuns.
Oh, and the cops over there, they don't mess around either. They will pull you over for,
no.
you better be 5 over. If you go more than that, you're toast.
Yeah.
So,
But nuns.
our usual host, Mr. Bill Gant, he currently is camping, right? But we here at the GGHOP, we get the files. We know where the budget and the money is going, and we figured out that's not what he's doing. He's not camping right now. You want to know what Bill's doing? You know what Bill's doing, Karen?
I didn't read the memo this morning, so it's all on you, dude.
Well, my son didn't send me the memo, so that's why we didn't get it. Thanks, boy. And currently, I heard through the grapevine, perusing the interwebs, you know how Saturday Night Live, how they have little skits that they go through, and about 1 out of every so many skits every once in a great while, they actually make those characters and put them in a movie. Like started with kind of like Wayne's World.
Oh, yeah.
You know, then you had like whatever your other ones were. There were a bunch of different ones.
Yeah.
They got a new one that they're getting ready to start working on, Karen. Do you remember Alec Baldwin? Remember Alec Baldwin?
God,
We've talked
yes.
about. It's one of Bill's absolute favorite people to bag on. Well, they weren't able to get him to participate in it. They have other people they're casting for his role.
Yeah.
But for one of the skits from Saturday Night Live, this skit was called Canteen Boy. And if any of you ever watched Saturday Night Live back in the 90s, there was Canteen Boy. What Canteen Boy was Adam Sandler's character, and they were out on a scout trip. You know, you're familiar with Scouts.
Oh yeah.
Both the boys in Scouts.
Yep.
I was in Scouts for a while. I was in the Weeblos. Shout out J-Dub. You were in the Weeblos with me there. And this skit is about Alec Baldwin is a Scoutmaster, right? And he's out with the kids on a Scout trip. When the Scouts all break up and go to their places where they're going to sleep for the night.
Yeah.
Well, Adam Sandler is Canteen Boy. He's just weird, and he does his, I'm Adam Sandler voice, right? Alec Baldwin is like the rapey Scoutmaster who's all on him and putting his arms on him and telling him how great he is and all that. And just a lot of stuff. If you try to look it on YouTube, you can't find it because I think it's been canceled out. Like they don't want to show the bits and pieces of that. Well, we heard through the grapevine they're making an adult video version of that. And right now, Bill is there trying to be cast in the role of Canteen Boy. So he's not actually camping. That's where he's at this week. So good luck out there, Bill. We're all rooting for you.
Well, at least he got the right shirt for it.
Well, when they cast him, they said, well, they watched the podcast. And we thank you for watching the podcast, those of you out there that were doing the casting call. And whenever they watched the podcast, they said, you know what? This guy, he looks kind of like Paul Heyman is directing porn in the 90s. We need to get this guy in on this Canteen Boy. Right? It's the ponytail, Bill. You gotta lose. You either got to go Hulkster or you don't. All right, come on.
Yeah.
So good luck out there. Cuddle up with your roommates out there in your camping trip. So speaking of camping, Karen, we were talking about camping movies the other day, me and you, and I was discussing. I only liked a couple of camping like themed movies or shows. I know a lot of people out there probably have their favorites, and some of them are horror movies, things like that. Because the only horror movie that I really ever saw that would have had like camp things related would have been like Friday the 13th,
right?
Like the Jason stuff.
Yeah.
What was it like? Silver Lake or Lake? What the hell was that place they were at?
House by the Lake. I don't know.
No, like the place that it was the setting for Friday the 13th. This would be something Bill would rattle off. So he's out there like,
there knows. He's
it's
probably
just right here, dumbass. Don't you know that? You don't watch shit.
Yeah.
So give me one of your favorite campy style shows, or you had some that were any of yours horror shows, or were they all the kind of dramas?
No. I think the Into the Wild is probably like the most inspirational camping movie, because like if you got the balls to do that, to drop off the face of the earth and just, make your goal to live and survive through Alaska.
But when I watched that, though, because if you haven't seen the movie Into the Wild, like it's a true story about a guy that basically went from California to Alaska in a bus, right? Didn't he have a bus?
No, he died in that bus. No.
Oh, he found that bus later, right?
Yeah, he found the bus in
Alaska.
Later. Right? He got it set up.
Spoiler alert.
Jesus.
I don't care about spoiler alerts. It's an old movie. Watch it.
Yeah, no, it's good. And the music is awesome. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just like a really inspirational, great soundtrack.
Well, and like some of the people he met along the way that helped him out, like the older guy that helped him out.
Yeah, with his belt. I mean, there's just so many cool things.
But in the whole back of my mind, I'm just like, you most unprepared, stupid-ass person once you got to a certain point. I'm like... Yeah,
there was a point where,
it's only inspiring until you realize he wasn't very prepared and he died.
Yeah, circumstances.
Right?
Yeah, I think it all like went down south in a part of the movie where he wasn't able to take care of
it was just
an animal.
It was just a guy who really meant well that didn't know what he was doing. And he was trying to find it.
Whatever.
That's what I thought.
Good. It was good. Watch it.
It was a great movie. I actually watched it. I like threw
Maybe you
like
should
threw
go on
out
that trip.
like threw out. No, they wouldn't want me on that trip. This show's bad enough. You think me out camping's gonna be fun? How many of these you think it'd take?
Yeah,
well, for them to be able to tolerate me, you need to tell your friend to go home. Wouldn't be the first time it's happened.
So one of my other ones is Little Darlings.
Little Darlings, and what is Little Darlings about?
Little Darlings is in the 80s, and it's a perfect 80s camp movie with Christy McNichol and Tatum O'Neal. No,
she was oh, I totally remember that. Are they wearing like the powder blue? Oh, they're totally wearing. She's wearing the little campy shorts. Like I'm wearing the little.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
okay, I remember that one.
Matt Dillon.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Hot.
That's just off of like the what was that one called? The Outsiders. Just off of that, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill would have dates and time codes and
Yeah.
stamps and
Tatum O'Neal. I was right. I
Yeah.
was worried I was saying something wrong. But that is like probably one of my first absolute favorite / fall in love with Christy McNichol.
She was so cute.
She is. She's adorable. And I love the movie, the whole theme of camping, and then, boys camp over here, girls camp on the
Yeah.
other side of the lake.
That
and-
was like what was it with the 80s that started that whole classic? There's the
and it
boys camp,
was-
there's the girls camp.
yeah,
thing.
and it was always like,
It was like a 10-year long run of movies or shows and like things on sitcoms that were about
yeah,
the girls across we're going to do
Yeah.
a panty raid. That's what it was.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to
penny raid, frozen bras, trying to have sex with everybody. And
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Then it turns into Porky's.
Yeah, you're right.
All right. Porky's.
Right.
The kids don't know what Porky's is.
I know.
Yeah. This is going to be a whole get off my porch episode. Shout out, Trevor. And you had any other ones besides that one?
The last one I thought was really good was We Are the Millers.
Oh yeah, where they were RV camping, right? They were
Yeah.
going where were they going?
That's a more recent one.
And they were pretending to be a family, correct?
Yeah. Jennifer Aniston, Jason Sudeikis.
Sudeikis? Yeah.
Sudeikis.
He was Ted Lasso, right? He's
Oh
Ted
my
Lasso,
gosh.
right?
Yeah. That was great.
You like Ted Lasso?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
good. It's not
he's
too
pretty
bad.
good.
I'm not into soccer, but the funny parts of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I only had two that I really cared for whenever I was younger that I watched that were campy style movies. I picked a TV show too because I thought it would kind of fit. But in the way of cinema, I mean classic cinema. I mean highbrow, the highest of brow cinema when it comes to movies. Ernest Goes to Camp. Hey ho!
Yeah.
Did you ever watch that?
No.
No. The very first
don't-
movie I ever went to was Ernest Goes to Camp.
Really?
Over here at the Frankfurt Cinema. Frankfurt Cinema probably held, I don't know.
Did it have one theater or two?
It had two, but they were
Okay.
both small and it
Yeah.
was terrible. And yeah, they tore it down because terrible. It was a terrible place. But
But
it was our place.
Yeah.
And so first time I ever watched a movie, Ernest Goes to Camp. Not kidding. Both theaters, both sides, showing the same show, same time.
full.
Completely sold out. I had to sit in the aisle. Yeah, me and my dad were sitting in the aisle to be able to be in. There was like
No
so many fire
way.
codes getting broke. It was ridiculous. But the opener for that, the first time it was shown there, it was completely packed. It's wall to wall.
Wow.
Like Frank Sinatra was coming to fucking New York, and it was the last time
Wow.
ever. That's how packed it was.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here like, for Ernest? But I was like, yeah, it's Ernest. All right. You know, like 5 at the time, 6 at the time, whatever. Like maybe, probably somewhere around there. But do you remember Ernest Goes to Camp? So it was like the one group of kids trying to get the other camp to get closed down, and they had like a battle against each other. I haven't watched it in forever. This is just all off
Yeah.
the top of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
And then Native Americans are getting their land sold to the evil guy that wants to tear it all down, and the older guy got tricked into signing the paperwork. It's it's a theatrical, just phenomenon. It's great. You got to watch it.
All
Kids
right.
will love that show. If you got kids at home and you haven't seen that in a while, it's cheesy. It's just classic cheesy, classic 80s cheesy. It's great.
Yeah.
Jim Varney. Can't go wrong with Jim Varney.
Jim.
Now, my TV one, a lot of people age probably 35-ish to 45-ish will know this one pretty well. Salute Your Shorts. Salute Your Shorts was a show that came out Nickelodeon circa 1992, where they all stayed at it was a summer camp, and it was on Nickelodeon, so it
Okay.
was very kid based. There's no like dirty
with you.
humor. It's just classic. But it kind of started like right now. I think Nickelodeon has always had some sort of summer campy type show on ever since
Right.
then, because once they had that, it just took off.
Yeah.
A lot of the folks, a few of the folks that were in it went on to do some other stuff and were kind of big actors, but not like too big. But it spawned some of those other ones that people watched. It was the one called like Hey Dude. Do you remember Hey Dude?
I remember maybe seeing the title, but I never watched it.
The generation right after me that was into Nickelodeon watched Hey Dude, and it was
Yeah.
kind of like they were at a horse ranch or some shit like that. But the Salute Your Shorts one, it was pretty funny because they would play pranks on each other and do some random stuff.
Yeah.
They had this one guy that was a camp counselor that was kind of like the the goofy guy that always messed up. He'd like fall off a ladder,
Okay.
or get paint on himself, or get sunburnt while he's outside, like your
yeah.
classic shtick that was from the 80s and 90s, like comedy
Yeah.
stuff like that. But that was the only ones I ever got into at all in the way of camping stuff. I found it like, how many horror movies are based on somebody being out camping somewhere?
Oh, tons.
Right? Like all of them, like half
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
Like Blair Witch, I don't know what they were doing running around by the trees and shit, but that kind of seems like they were out camping at first before it kind of got out of hand.
Well, even Evil Dead.
Oh yeah, right.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
There you go. There's your
Who's gonna go running into the woods when they hear something
those
weird?
people. Those people.
There's
Those
those
are the only
people.
people that would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's creepy as fuck.
That's why when we did when he did those things where the website would tell you what's good or bad about it and what wasn't in it, and they were talking about there wasn't any black people in that show. It's like, because they were all smart enough to not be there. They would have not been participating in any of that stuff. They'd been like, fuck no. What was that sound? Like, I don't know. It's gonna be the sound of my car and me fucking leaving is what it's gonna be.
Oh God.
All right. So let's see what we got. Let's see what we got on time here. All brought to you by the Wilson's Farm Market. We still got 15 minutes left, Karen. So we're almost up to our 60th episode.
Really?
Does that seem crazy?
Yes, it does.
So when we first started, first few shows, it took you a little bit to kind of loosen up. You were a little bit nervous, right?
Oh yeah.
So I've been on camera a few times when I was younger, and I don't have any shame, so I don't really care what I say or do in front of a camera. So I was never nervous about any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But so now that you feel more comfortable, do you feel like your personality in your regular life, do you feel like it's kind of made you open up a little bit, get a little bit more freer and a little bit more able to?
It is, but what I think's interesting is the three of you, producer and have a dynamic that you've known each other so long and been friends so long. I'm a little bit of the oddball out. And what's really funny is when I go into my normal life, and I just recently helped my mom and took her to the hospital in Indianapolis for a procedure she has every other month. And my humor really comes out there, it's like, but here, I think in the beginning it was easier to find things to be funny about. But now I think I just kind of sit here and go, yeah, because I don't get you all. I don't get
part of it too also is with our little circle is some of that shit's just for us too. Like we're having inside jokes that aren't necessarily going to land with the rest of the public audience.
I could just fucking take my shirt off and do a little bit better job, I'm sure. And I have no tits. I really don't. None. I mean, maybe wrong day.
So when you go to the doctor's office, you try to cut it up a little bit?
Oh, well, yeah. Or anywhere. If I go to my mom's house, I can, anywhere. I mean, it's just like it comes to me. But here it's like.
So I can't remember if I said it on this podcast before. I don't think I did. But when my son turned 11, he was already starting to hit puberty, right? I'll call him out. I don't give a shit. He turned 11. He's already starting to hit. He's already starting to take off, right? And doctor comes in. Well, the doctor at the time is pediatrician, since retired, cool guy. He would always joke around with me and my wife. He knew he like the first few times we were there, he kind of got our sense of humor. So
right.
And he was a comedian, so he kind of tried to play to the crowd. A pediatric, that's a comedian, right? Super old guy, super cool guy though. He was all right. Weird, just weird. Some of his humor didn't land, but we'd all ha ha ha, and go along with it.
I think I know.
So I ended up. He had an intern that was with him, and this intern is coming from one of the colleges. He's there hanging out with him for the day or whatever, and just following him around, seeing what he does. So the intern, they'd already been in the room a few times. They come back with his results or whatever. It's like, well, he's starting to go into his first wave of puberty or whatever. And with the, other guy who was the intern standing there, I looked over at the doctor. I go, that mean I can start hitting him close-fisted now? That did not land with that guy that was standing over there. I looked at him. I go, we're just joking, man. We're just joking. It's all right. Yeah.
As he's got his phone out.
Yeah. And another time, wife didn't have him naturally. She had to have him cut out, right? So when she was pregnant.
C-section?
The C-section or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
And so when they allow me to go into the room, because they're going to allow me to go into the room, she's basically just out of it and laying there. And I'm like, okay, I can't really support her because she's out of it. What am I supposed to do?
There.
Yeah, there's nothing. They're like, towel off her head a little bit. I'm like, all right. And I'm like, now what am I supposed to do? I'm just standing here. So I I hadn't slept in like 3 days. I'd been up for like days. Walk around the other side and just watch this guy fillet my wife, pull my son out, and
Oh,
sew her back up as I'm just standing over there watching him do it. Then I make a joke as he's doing this stuff. I make the joke. So, which one of you guys are the guys from Scrubs? And he turns around and goes, "How long have you been standing there?" I'm like, "Oh, basically just watched you perform the surgery." He goes, "You're not even supposed to be standing on this side. You're supposed to be
yeah.
over here." And I basically got kicked out of the room for
Oh
being
my
in the wrong
God.
spot I was at.
Oh
So
my
that was
God.
nice.
You're terrible.
So 10 minutes left in this shambles that we're calling a show. And Bill's sitting out there. He's like, "Man, I knew this was going to go off the rails. Our awesome sponsor, Wilson, ain't going to sponsor us anymore because James don't know what he's doing. He didn't plan ahead. He didn't load up his graphics and all this funny stuff." But as soon as I went through that shtick, I just looked at it and I'm like, if I play these skits and this thing, he's going to literally be like, "What in the Colbert trash is this? Get this stuff off my TV show." So this is what you got, Bill. Substitute teacher, the coolest substitute teacher.
That's true.
I'll let you do whatever you want. I'm rolling in the VCR. We're all going to watch a tape today. All right, Karen.
All right. So Adams gets to go back to work and he's moving in his own apartment.
So the empty nest deal.
Yeah. What's up with that? That's going to be weird.
There's a whole depression / excitement that usually comes with that, correct?
Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah. But what's hard is Catherine was the last one to leave home. And, I still had 2 kids at home.
They
So
always come back.
yeah, well, I don't know about that. I think Ryan was enough of a challenge and strict enough that I don't think they'd want to come back.
Yeah. I appreciate that, though. It wasn't until I got out of the house I was like, yeah, I'm glad they kind of showed me some of that shit. Because I'm not, I'm not some pansy out here failing on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
That's good, though. Harden them up.
Yeah.
Even though they didn't throw you a very good Mother's Day, a fucking card.
Oh.
Your next Mother's Day. Well, when I don't want to ask when your birthday is. When's your birthday month?
January.
January.
You got a while.
You got a few months.
You can
That
make
better
some
be the
plans.
best fucking birthday she's ever had, too.
Yeah.
Hear me?
Actually, my best fucking birthday I ever had was my 50th. Ryan is the man to plan parties. My husband.
Really?
He is amazing. He did a decade thing where he got my friends and some of my
like
family together.
This Is Your Life?
Yeah.
Do you remember This Is Your Life?
Yeah, something
kids
like
don't
that.
remember This
It
Is
was
Your
really
Life.
sweet, though. It was really sweet. Each person, each decade, they had 2 people that covered that time period, and they get 10 gifts for that decade.
Damn.
And there were little things, nothing
Oh, yeah, but
big.
still.
And it was epic.
Like,
Epic.
did you have like old friends that gave you like something that would have remembered you from some shit you guys did back in the day?
Not a cousin of mine that covered that decade, my teen years. But
So you had no other siblings then. So you hung out with you hung out with your cousins a lot then?
a bit, yeah,
Because mine was basically like I have an older sister who's mentally handicapped.
yes,
So my cousins were like my brothers and sisters, basically. I hung out with them all the
Right,
time.
right.
Yeah. That's crazy.
yeah.
Well, we're going to wrap up this shit show of a Friday. If you didn't laugh, I don't care. Write a damn comment down there at the bottom. You can win $100 to the Wilson's Farm Market. Sweet ass t-shirt. Karen's sitting by over there. And at some point, I'm going to say in about 2 weeks, I'm going to announce another giveaway that's going to be fantastic. And, oh, yay. Hey, my son finally sent me a text back. Hey, Dad, what do you need? I don't know. Probably you awake with your phone. Duh. God, cut that out. I'm going to just send it to him. Fuck. Yeah.
Trouble.
Yeah, that time when you're building up, you're like, how
Not
much
a
am I
good
going to lay
day.
into this kid when I get home, Karen? How much am I going to lay into this
I
kid?
know. I'm a little nervous for
Is it
him.
going to be brief?
If he all of a sudden puts it on right now,
Oh,
leave.
Nah. He won't even look me up. He don't even know I'm on a podcast. Fuck. He's probably on his own podcast. That's why he's got his phone off. Fuck. Wilson's Farm Market.
How to roll.
Proud to bring you this stuff that we call a podcast. We'd like to send a shout out to Bill doing his porn version of Canteen Boy. Man, he's trying to get this gig so he can sell us out. Go global. Go all corporate. I see how it is. I'm writing jokes for Seth Meyers. You're out there doing Canteen Boy films. Well, get you a haircut while you're out there, and when we come back, hopefully you'll have solved that problem. And I'm just bagging on your ponytail, Bill. I can't fucking grow hair. That's why I'm pissed off. Fucker grows hair. God damn. Well, signing off from the GGHOP, Historical Christian Race District, Frankfurt Beer Works. This was the last one, by the way.
Oh, well, you gave it away.
That was the last one, by the way. Sign up for our giveaway. There's going to be another giveaway here in about a couple of weeks. That's going to be pretty sweet. I haven't even told Bill about, but it's going to happen. And Bill always does his little shtick where he says, make people laugh, that kind of stuff. I'm like, nah, I make people laugh all the time anyway. So what I'm going to tell you is give props to people. Give props to just it could be something as simple as a wave. To the dudes that are picking up your trash in the morning. To the school bus driver that's picking up the kids while you're stopping to wait for him to let the kids on. To the guy in the Carhartts at the bar that looks like he's had a rough-ass day who's probably been making sure you got food on the table. Especially to the fucking nurses and the firemen. And say what you will about the bad cops. There's fucking good cops out there. Give them a shout-out. Wave. Say hi. Be friendly with them. It's not a big deal. It doesn't take too much to be nice. And this is the GGHOP. And we're signing off. Have a good one.
Out.